Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Chris. Today I wanted to do a quick rundown of two new fragrances by the house of Kayali. Their two newest releases. I don't typically do single reviews or new release videos unless I am really thrilled about the fragrances and I can't wait to talk about them, and this is the case. Now, I'm going to be talking about Velvet Santal and Silk Santal. These are the two fragrances that were created by Mona and Hassan to commemorate their wedding day. And to say that I'm beyond thrilled and in love with these fragrances would be an understatement, and for that reason I decided to do a quick video. Now, this is not a first impression. I'm not a big fan of first impressions. I think you can miss out on a lot and misjudge a fragrance if you base your opinion on a quick first impression. So I've had 5 days with these two fragrances. I have worn one or both on every single day, either all day or a portion of the day. So I have a really good idea of how the fragrances wear, the notes, the projection, the longevity, and of course my preference. Now, for purposes of transparency, these were gifted to me in PR, and if you are new, the way PR works with me is I'm happy to talk about a perfume that was gifted to me as long as it's a like or a love and I can say what I want. And these were given to me with no strings attached. In fact, they didn't even ask me to do a review. And many fragrances I have been gifted in PR don't make it to the video just because I didn't get along with them and they really weren't in my wheelhouse. Now, these two fragrances, it was hard for me not to make a video within the first 3 days because I was just so in love with these perfumes, but I'm ready to make one now, and I'm ready to talk about these perfumes, Velvet and Silk Santal. Before I get into the breakdown of each perfume, both of these fragrances do share the note of sandalwood, and Mona used that note because she wanted to honor Hassan's Sudanese heritage, and sandalwood is used in a lot of ceremonies in Sudan. And for that reason, sandalwood is incorporated in both of these fragrances. These perfumes are meant to be worn alone or layered together, and I can tell you, layered together, they are magical. But I'm going to start off with Silk Santal because this was the perfume I thought that was going to be my big love. And because it was marketed towards women, I thought it was going to be my scent. So it was the first one I sprayed, and I was beyond thrilled when I sprayed this fragrance. And it didn't take me very long to realize that I was going to love this perfume. There is nothing about this perfume that I don't like. Some fragrances, gosh, they can be a 90% love, but there's 10% of the fragrance that I just don't get along with. And for that reason, I usually don't wear it, or it just isn't in my wheelhouse. I love every part of this fragrance, and for that matter, Velvet Santal. Neither of these is a linear fragrance. They both change a lot from the opening to the dry down, and that is another reason why I didn't want to give you my first impression. Now, the opening of Silk Santal is very invigorating. It's very effervescent. It has a note of champagne. Once you smell champagne in fragrances, you will start to recognize it. It's not necessarily always sweet. There might be a little bit of what people perceive as greenness, but it is that champagne scent. It is the champagne profile. So it is bubbly, it's effervescent. There's freesia in here. If you want to know what freesia smells like, go to Whole Foods or go to Fresh Thyme or something, or a natural grocery store that sells essential oils, and get that essential oil and smell it. It does have a pretty unique scent profile. So do many florals like rose and tuberose, etc. It's a bright floral. It sometimes can be, it can overtake a fragrance. Not the case. So it is effervescent. It's like freesia petals swimming around in champagne, like a champagne freesia or a freesia champagne. Now, that opening lasts, I would say, maybe 45 minutes, and maybe an hour into the perfume, you start to get into the heart of this perfume. Now, the middle notes are nectarine and praline. So there is a sweetness to this perfume. So it starts to sweeten up in the dry down. And nectarine is different than peach. In my opinion, nectarine is not as sweet. It's drier. It's not as juicy. It has a more reserved scent profile. So I do love the addition of praline to kind of sweeten it up a bit. It's not an overpowering fruitiness like peach can be overpowering. It's present in the background. And as this dries down, you have a sugared musk and sandalwood. I will say, for those of you that are afraid of sandalwood, don't be afraid. The sandalwood in here is light, in my opinion. It is not beast mode. I would categorize this perfume as a fruity vanilla, not a sandalwood perfume. It is a fruity It is a bright, fruity vanilla with a little bit of sandalwood. I've had a lot of people on Instagram ask me if this is similar to Vanilla 28, and I would say no. I would say the vanillas are different. This to me is like a silky, satiny, smooth, slightly syrupy, fruity vanilla, whereas Vanilla 28, that is the vanilla in there is like a vanilla bean. It's a baking vanilla. You have brown sugar, there's tonka, so it goes in a different direction. In my opinion, it goes in a different direction. So I would say something that would be in the ballpark would be Vanilla Woods by the Seven Virtues. Now it's not a dupe. They're not sister perfumes. I only say that because, or I only mention it because I get a lot of people that say, "What does this smell like?" For example, if you don't like Baccarat 540, and someone says, "Oh, this smells like Baccarat 540," you're probably not going to like that perfume. So I would say it falls in the category of Vanilla Woods, which, in my opinion, are both, kind of fruity vanillas. I like this leaps and bounds better than Vanilla Woods. It just really appeals to me, and I don't dislike any part of the fragrance. I would call this mild to moderate in wear and mildly projecting, which for me is perfect. A lot of you just want beast mode perfumes. Beast mode perfumes don't work out well for me all the time. If you don't know, I work in a hospital. I have to be really careful about what perfumes I wear, and I like to wear perfumes every day. So if I'm smart and if the fragrance isn't really obnoxious and loud, I can get away with it. And I have worn this to the hospital 3 times. So it does have great longevity. I would say I spray around 10 times. It has great longevity with a very small scent bubble. So people aren't smelling me until they come right into my scent bubble, and it's not overwhelming. And my friends who smelled me like the 2-3 days I wore it said, "You smell very pretty." They didn't smell me until they came, within an arm's length, which is exactly what I want. And that's why this is so versatile to me. This could be a signature scent for me for that reason. I could wear it dressed up, casual, date night, work, lunching, anything, except I wouldn't want to wear this like going to the swimming pool. It's probably a little bit elevated for that, but I don't toss around the signature scent worthy category very often. I have maybe 2 handfuls out of all my collection, which is very large, which I could consider signature scent worthy. This absolutely falls in that category. This could be. I don't have a signature scent. I don't foresee me ever getting a signature scent. But if I had to narrow it down, this would make the cut for sure. An absolute love for me. And for those of you who know, I have a picky spouse. He dislikes about 95% of my collection. And every time I get a new perfume, I always spray on myself. And I spray on a card or have him, test it out or smell it. And he usually recoils the vast majority of the scents I have him smell. And when I sprayed this on myself and he smelled it on me maybe an hour later, he said, "Wow, you smell very pretty," just like that. And that is the biggest compliment coming from Picky Pat. I have a teenage daughter, and her favorite perfume is Kayali Yum Gelato. That she wears all the time. She smelled it. She says, "Mom, it's pretty." But I'm having a pistachio moment right now. So this one might be a little too sophisticated and a little too fancy for her, but an absolute love for me. Now, the one that really surprised me is Velvet Santal, because I assumed I would just love Silk Santal so much better because it was feminine leaning, even though I wear unisex fragrances and I wear some fragrances that are marketed to men. I like what I like. This was a shocker. I actually love this perfume, and I would categorize, this is solidly unisex. I wouldn't even say it leans masculine in my opinion, particularly in the dry down. This is solidly unisex, and I would categorize this as an ambery sandalwood. So if you were to give your first impressions of this fragrance, you would completely miss a big part of the perfume. The opening is very different than the dry down, and even though I love the opening, the dry down is where it's at. So in the opening, I think there's tea and jasmine leaves, but to me it smells like, I'm a big tea drinker, to me it smells like you made a jasmine pearl tea and add just a little bit of creaminess to it, maybe a little bit of cream. This thing is a velvety smooth. It is, like I said, this is a little bit more woody. So in addition to Santal or sandalwood, it also has cedarwood. So there's a little bit more heft to this perfume. There's a little bit of musk. I'm telling you, the musk is very quiet, and the base of this perfume is my very favorite. Even though I love the opening in the mid, the base is resins and sandalwood. It has benzoin, which kind of has a vanillic sweetness. This thing is beautiful in the dry down. It gets sweeter as it dries down. So if you are a lover of, let's say, like a sweet sandalwood perfume like Santal Complet, they're not the same, but they fall into that same category. I would say if you want an idea of what this smells like, my little bird friend is trying to overpower me. My little bird friend's so sweet. If you want an idea of what this smells like, I would say it's in the ballpark. Take Santal Complet, remove the lemon, remove that coconut, so the ambery sandalwood, and mix that with, let's say, Mon Guerlain the Intense. So if you mix those together, thinned them out, smoothed them out, made them more velvety, you would come up with something similar to Velvet Santal. This was my scent of the day, and oh my gosh, I just smelled fantastic. I did wear it to work, and today I worked with a bunch of men. I typically don't. I usually work with a bunch of women, and men are a little bit more reluctant to give compliments. I think they're afraid to give compliments. But as I was walking out the door, I saw a friend. She gave me a hug and she said, "Oh my gosh, you smell so good. Is that a new one?" And I said yes, and I told her the story, and she actually asked me to bring her a decant. So it's not, I don't want people thinking that this is masculine, this is only for men only. No, no, no. If my husband were to wear this on his wedding day, or if he were to wear this day to day, I would not be able to stop smelling him. And the miraculous thing is that I sprayed this on him the day I got it, and he is so picky about fragrances. I would say he dislikes about 95% of what I own. And the new ones that come in, when I spray them, he doesn't even want me to spray them on him. He's that picky. I sprayed this on him and he was like, "Wow, this smells really good." He wore it all day. Sometimes he goes straight to the sink and washes off whatever I sprayed him with. He wore it all day and he smelled great. I only sprayed him like twice. So he wasn't overpowering me with his sillage, but he smelled fantastic. So a couple of fantastic new releases from Kayali, Mona and Hassan. You guys knocked this out of the park, and these are going to be in heavy rotation in my family. And I am so thrilled that I have the opportunity to own them. I can guarantee when these are finished, I will purchase the big bottles myself. So this is not the last that you will see of those two fragrances. I can assure you they will be incorporated in many videos to come. I've had a lot of people ask, so I wanted to do a quick video about my thoughts and impression of these two releases. I see these two fragrances doing amazingly for the brand of Kayali. I hope you enjoyed your time with me today. Thanks for stopping by, thanks for sticking around, and I hopefully will see you on the next one.